We will start with Supervisor Anderson, then go to Supervisor Lawson-Remer, and then hear from public speakers.
Thank you, Chairman Fletcher. I just want to start off by thanking Supervisor Lawson-Remer for signing on to our board letter. We all know homelessness has become a crisis. The number of newly homeless in San Diego County doubled in 2020. According to San Diego's 2020 point-in-time count, 1 out of every 4 San Diego homeless adults is over the age of 55. Among this group of unsheltered older adults, 88% became homeless in San Diego County, and 43% of them are experiencing homelessness for the first time in their lives. There are 2,000 older adults that are actively homeless, and this number is projected to triple over the next decade. While the number of adults aged 55 and over is projected to grow, the fastest growth is among those 65 and older. And instead of waiting for our seniors to become homeless to help them, we're suggesting using a proactive prevention program like a shallow rent subsidy program because it leads to a better life outcome and long-term cost savings for our taxpayers. I would like to thank Serving Seniors for their fantastic report they put together in the fall that stresses the growing disparities of housing needs of older adults. A lot of the statistics mentioned are in our board letter. We're taken from that report. Again, I want to thank Supervisor Lawson-Remer for co-authoring this board letter to design a new pilot program that would provide a shallow rent subsidy for low-income senior adults who are eminently at risk of becoming homeless. You know, we have other programs such as rapid rehousing that's for individuals who can get back on their feet, get back to work, and need temporary assistance. Where seniors are different is because they've retired. Many of these folks are 80, 85, 90 years old and unable to work due to disabilities or merely their age. So I'm asking the board today with my co-author to look at this and let's take a preemptive, proactive approach. These shallow subsidies they pale in comparison to the cost of having people on the streets and the cost to the community. But most importantly, it's giving us an opportunity to lift our neighbors and friends. You know, these are somebody's grandmothers and grandfathers, and they've worked all their life. And if we can avoid putting them in the streets and it saves taxpayers, it just makes good sense to me that we should be that better neighbor. With that, I know that my co-author would like to speak.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. We're going to go back real quick to Supervisor Anderson for some comments on his item, and then we'll go to Vice Chair Vargas and then Supervisor Desmond. Supervisor Anderson.
Thank you, Chairman Fletcher. You know what? I was so excited about presenting this, I neglected to say a few things. You know, the best ideas don't necessarily come from me. They come from my constituents and the people I meet with. And I just wanted to give proper credit to Serving Seniors, St. Paul's Senior Services, Jewish Family Services, PAF, San Diego Housing Federation, Community Housing Works, East County Chamber Homeless Task Force, City of El Cajon, Chelsea Investment Corporation, the Regional Task Force on Homeless. I met with all those folks over the last year, and they presented a lot of great ideas. But one of the other things I neglected to say is when we're thinking in terms of funding buckets, the county can't go it alone. And there are other funding opportunities out there that should also be pursued or looked at in pursuit. And you know, just in the revise to the California's 21-22 budget includes $3.8 billion in new funding to build an age-friendly, I hate people when they do this, but it's, you know, it's in quotes, age-friendly state, that's the term that they use, that supports older adults through a master plan for aging. We also have, as another bucket, ARPA. They have money set aside, and HAP. So there are plenty of sources out there that we can go ahead and pursue. And some of this, the money's already in a bucket, but perhaps we can divert a small amount of it. And you know, this is a pilot program, so I'd like to make sure that we get a report back within a year after it's been implemented on whether it was successful or not, so that we would be best suited to size up the program to meet the seniors of in the entire county, not just in the pilot program. And I also, when talking to staff, there were some concerns over the size of the pilot. And I'd like to suggest, if my second is in approval, that we could open this program by starting in the unincorporated area, or perhaps we could open this initially looking at capping the pilot to the most needy, and therefore we're helping the folks that need it most while also assessing this program to figure out whether we can size up and how far to size that program. So I'd like to also include that in the motion if the second would be willing to accept that.
Thank you. Supervisor Anderson.
Aye.
Supervisor Lawson-Remer.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Vargas.
Vargas, aye.
Chair Fletcher.
Fletcher, aye.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.